The people of Mozambique find themselves bracing for impact. Tropical cyclone Jude, a powerful storm brewing in the Indian Ocean, has set its sights on the nation's central and northern regions. Meteorological forecasts paint a grim picture. Cyclone Jude is expected to make landfall with significant force. Wind speeds are projected to reach a staggering 180 kilometers per hour. Accompanying these fierce winds will be torrential rainfall. Some areas could see up to 250 millimeters of rain in just 24 hours. The storm's trajectory places a large portion of Mozambique's population in harm's way. An estimated 341,000 people reside in areas directly in the cyclone's path. Coastal communities are particularly vulnerable to Jude's wrath. The combined forces of high winds, heavy rainfall and storm surge could lead to catastrophic flooding. The provinces of Nampula, Cabo Delgado and Zambezia are projected to bear the brunt of Cyclone Jude's fury. Nampula, the cyclone's anticipated entry point, is home to the bustling port city of Nacala. Nacala and its surrounding areas face significant risks from both wind damage and flooding. Cabo Delgado, still reeling from the impacts of previous cyclones, is bracing for another potential disaster. The province of Zambezia, situated in central Mozambique, is also on high alert. Cyclone Jude poses a multitude of threats to Mozambique. The cyclone's intense winds have the potential to cause widespread devastation. Homes, buildings and critical infrastructure are at risk of severe damage. Power outages and communication disruptions are highly likely, further complicating relief efforts. The torrential rainfall associated with Cyclone Jude raises serious concerns about flooding. Low-lying areas and coastal regions are particularly susceptible to inundation. Flooding can lead to the displacement of communities, damage to crops and livelihoods, and the spread of waterborne diseases. The cyclone's impact on agriculture could be particularly devastating. Mozambique is heavily reliant on agriculture, and widespread crop damage would have severe consequences for food security. The storm surge, a potentially deadly phenomenon, poses a significant threat to coastal communities. The surge, a rise in sea level caused by the cyclone's powerful winds, can inundate coastal areas with devastating force. The combination of storm surge and high tides could result in catastrophic flooding, putting lives and property at risk. The government of Mozambique is taking proactive steps to mitigate the impact of Cyclone Jude. The National Institute for Disaster Risk Management and Reduction, or INGD, has been placed on high alert. Emergency operational committees have been activated to coordinate disaster preparedness and response efforts. The government is working closely with humanitarian partners to pre-position essential supplies. These supplies include food, water, shelter materials and medical kits, which will be crucial in providing immediate assistance to affected communities. Evacuation plans have been developed for vulnerable areas, particularly those at high risk of flooding and storm surge. However, Mozambique's capacity to respond effectively to Cyclone Jude is constrained by the recent occurrence of other devastating cyclones. Between December 2024 and January 2025, two powerful cyclones ripped through Mozambique. These cyclones caused widespread damage and displacement, stretching the country's resources thin. The cumulative impact of these recent disasters has left communities vulnerable and less able to cope with another major weather event. The back-to-back nature of these cyclones highlights Mozambique's increasing vulnerability to the impacts of climate change. As Cyclone Jude bears down on Mozambique, it serves as a stark reminder of the country's vulnerability to climate change. Mozambique is situated in a region prone to cyclones, and the frequency and intensity of these storms are increasing due to a warming climate. Rising sea levels exacerbate the risks of storm surge and coastal flooding, putting millions of people at risk. The international community must step up and provide Mozambique with the support it desperately needs. Immediate humanitarian assistance is crucial to saving lives and alleviating suffering in the aftermath of Cyclone Jude. However, long-term investments in climate resilience are equally important. This includes strengthening early warning systems, investing in disaster-resistant infrastructure, and supporting community-based disaster risk reduction programs. Mozambique needs the capacity to not only respond to disasters but also to prepare for and mitigate their impacts. The world must recognize that climate change is not a distant threat but a present reality for countries like Mozambique. Investing in climate resilience in vulnerable nations is not only a moral imperative but also a smart investment in global stability and security. Failure to act will result in more lives lost, more livelihoods destroyed, and more communities displaced.